Good morning, Journey Kids. Good to see you on this Sunday morning. I am coming to you live from my front porch again. There's a lot of noise around. I apologize. The guy's mowing down there, some guy's hammering someone over there. So I'm just going to try to talk loud so you can hear me, but there might be some environmental noise. And by the way, in case you're wondering if you're at the right place, if you're a Journey Kid, you're in the right place. I love my cool shirt. Now, thanks to Mr. Josh for getting this to me. Very cool to bust it out on a beautiful day. And that's a Jeep passing by. I want that Jeep, actually. Okay, we're going to jump right in. We might see my mailman in a couple minutes if we're lucky. But his name's Travis. He's really cool. So I'm going to show you a few trophies that I've got here. And I got these when I was a kid. And I'm going to ask you in a second about trophies that you might have gotten at some point. But these are some of my favorite trophies. I've got 4 favorite trophies. I'm going to show you 3 of them and talk about the 4th one today. This is when I was 9 years old. I was on a baseball team, the Green League and American Legion. I forget. No, I remember our team's name. And we won the Tag Day Championship. So I got this. I remember we won at an Oakland school. I was playing right field, really cool. And I went out to lunch with my mom at Steak and Shake afterwards. So one of my favorite trophies when I was a kid. And then a year later, I got this trophy. I was in Cub Scouts. You can see they're kind of rickety at this point. But I was in Cub Scouts, and we had this thing where we built these little sailboats, and we sailed them in a gutter filled with water, and we had to kind of blow on it. And I remember I was sick at the time, but nevertheless, I got first place for Pack 39 in the Rain Gutter Regatta. You can see it's called there. So again, another trophy I loved when I was a kid. And the 3rd trophy is a little bit later in life. So when I was running, this is my fastest 5K race ever. It was in Tremont for the Tremont Turkey Festival. And I got first place, actually, for my age division. So one of the few times I've gotten a first place trophy that I earned. So really like that. So I'm going to tell you, there's one other trophy that I don't even know if I have it anymore. I think it got kind of banged up. But it's really tall. And it's my favorite trophy of all time. I'm going to tell you about that one in a second. But before I do, my question for you this week is, what trophies do you have? Well, what have you earned a trophy for that you've got on your shelf or in a closet or maybe tucked away somewhere? What was it for? And what was that experience like? Was there a ceremony? Did they pass it out to you? How did you feel? Were people clapping or were you kind of, whatever? But so what trophies have you gotten? What were they for? And how did you feel about that? What did it look like? And I'll be right back. You can pause now. All right, I am back. Okay, my other trophy I'll tell you about here at the very end, but I want to talk a little about trophies. Trophies are interesting. A lot of times I've done things in life where I've gotten a trophy for it, and then there are times in life where I felt like, okay, I should have gotten a trophy, but I didn't. And that's a different feeling. We talked about, if you got a trophy, you feel good, you're smiling, you go out to lunch, you celebrate. But what about those times where you feel like you should have gotten something and you didn't? That is life sometimes. And we've been talking about trophies, but sometimes it's not just trophies. It's kind of like I did something that I think I should get recognized for. I should get honored for, and I don't. And that's a whole different feeling. Sometimes I can get frustrated or disappointed, maybe mad a little bit. I'll give you one example that's really interesting. There's a lot of baseball players, Major League Baseball players, who are really good. And if you're really good, you get to go in the Hall of Fame. But you have to be nominated and voted in by writers and peers and all that. And it's amazing for me to see for guys who think they were good enough to be in the Hall of Fame, but they don't get in there, they get bitter, they get angry, they get sour. And that just struck me. I'm like, okay, what are the things in life that I feel like I should have gotten recognized for? And it can be as simple as giving somebody money, or it could be being nice to someone at the coffee shop, or it could be coming up with a good idea at work. But for those spots where I don't get trophies or I don't get recognized, how do I feel? So go ahead and pause the video, and I have 2 things for you. First of all, is there a time when you feel like you should have gotten recognized, or you should have gotten a trophy, or should have had someone say thank you, but you didn't? What was that situation, and how did you feel? And then second of all, if you would look up this verse, I'm going to ask you to look up Matthew 23, 8 through 12. Check that out, and I'll be right back in a second. Okay, I am back, and I'm fascinated to hear what your answers were on that. I love this verse that's talking to the Pharisees, because this is basically talking to Pharisees who love to have the seat of honor. They like to have the best seats in the house wherever they go. They like people to thank them and recognize them. But the Bible says here, like, you know what? That's not what it's all about. It's not about you getting recognized here on earth. But I love this last part that says, verse 12 says, for those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. So many times, I want to talk about the great things I did, but this just says, essentially, Aaron, that's not for you to do. There's a time, Aaron, where I'll make sure you get recognition. I'll make sure you get rewards, but that's not on you to make it happen. God's call to me is to always humble myself, and if he chooses to lift me up, whether it's in his eyes, which is, he lifts us up highly, or if he chooses to lift us up in man's eyes through awards and recognition, that's great, but that's not on us to lobby for, not for us to pursue. So that is the reminder for today, is that if you've ever not gotten recognized for something and feel like you should, not to be frustrated, not to be angry, but just say, like, you know what, Jesus, for whatever reason, I'm not going to get recognized for that. That's okay. There's another verse that talks about do what your acts of righteousness in secretness, so that your Father might reward you without you seeking the reward of man. So that is the challenge for today, is always to remember that, yes, there's a time we'll be recognized, we'll be rewarded, but if not, there's a joy in doing something that's worthy and good, but not being recognized, because the Lord looks and smiles and loves us for that. And that is a precious reward beyond any trophy. So that is the lesson for today. Okay, I don't have the trophy that I wanted to share with you, but I'm going to tell you what I got it for. Okay, I used to be what is called a mascot. So all you might know, Reggie the Redbird, and Reggie the Redbird is actually a real bird, but sometimes he's so busy, so I had to fill in for him on times. So they had the suit I'd wear, and I went to a camp to get trained for it, and I won an award, this really tall trophy, and it was for the best mascot walk. So I was voted to have the best mascot walk of all the mascots there. So again, not trying to brag, but I'm going to show you if you want to see what this mascot walk looked like, okay? So bear with me a second. I'm going to reposition the camera here. You're going to hear mowing extraordinaire, but I trust you, it's worth it. Okay, I got to angle this just right. You're really going to hear mowing. It goes something like this. Hey! My neighbor's going to like a black. Okay, I'll do that more in person sometime. Love y'all. Happy Sunday. Talk to you soon.